Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. So recently I did a journal tour or a journal ecosystem, and it got me thinking that I need to talk a little bit more about the stationery that I use because I am quite a stationery fanatic, and truth be told, since I stopped studying and since I got out of school, I haven't really had a formal way of organizing the stationery that I used, and I was thinking that maybe it's time to do that. I wanted to do a little bit of an in-depth video on how I've been setting up my stationery for the last few weeks. Today was actually quite perfect timing because I need to do a major journal session and a major journal update, so we're going to be doing that later on. But for now, I wanted to explain the two systems that I've had going for the last 2 months or so. Of course, we are in March now, so I have changed it a little bit, but this is kind of the system that I've been going with. And that, in terms of stationery, basically includes these two setups. This setup didn't have a case until now, which I'm really excited to show you guys, but this setup has kind of been briefly shown in some of my other videos, and this setup has actually been the same for years. So we will kind of go through each one and see how I use different stationery items and what I've set up for myself. So first of all, I've got a separate setup for home. Of course, I've got pens and stationery lying everywhere because I did design in school and I did art, and I've always been a creative person. So the amount of stationery that I have is insane. But wherever you look in the room, there is always a pen available. However, it does get a little overwhelming to be using so many different pens at one go. So I've kind of made a system of just a few pens in this little pencil case here that I keep for home. Pencil case that I have here, it's from Typo. I actually got this with a book or a diary organizer. So it is basically like an organizer that opens up, and this pencil case came with it, and it basically clips in to the organizer. So you can carry a book in there, you can, put spare pens, you can put like sticky notes and all of that stuff. And I used to carry that case around when I used to heavily annotate books and things so that I would just have everything in one place. So this one stays at home unless I really need it for out of the house. But this stays at home, and it's pretty much got similar things to what is in my travel case. But of course, it is very simple and it's got very basic stuff in it. So just a quick tour of what I keep in here. So of course, I've got my ruler. This is a ruler from Kaweco, and it basically opens up into a 30cm long ruler. And of course, this is great to carry around, especially when you're not carrying those big pencil cases that you would for school. Next is Tipp-Ex. I have become addicted, and I've become actually very used to using tape Tipp-Ex. I don't remember the last time I used liquid Tipp-Ex, because a lot of the time when I am using Tipp-Ex, I need like immediate usage of it, and I need it to cover whatever it needs to cover, and I cannot be waiting for the liquid Tipp-Ex to dry. But as you can see the wheel there, this is a relatively new one. I opened this one I think maybe 2 weeks ago, but it is relatively new. You can see that the wheel over there is quite full. And this is also from Kaweco. This is not sponsored, but almost all of the stationery in this little pouch here is from Kaweco because they sell really cheap stationery and it's good quality stationery. So a lot of the stuff that is in here is the brand Deli. And Deli stationery is good anyway, and Kaweco just stocks tons of it. So a lot of the stationery that I use is Deli. Next up, we've got some very basic black pens over here. I've got these three. They're all Deli. So this one here is from the New Design collection. It is one of those fast drying gel pens. So the gel dries extremely quickly, and the nib, of course, I think all the nibs I carry around are 0.5 or smaller, because I guess it's just easier to, write in little lines, or if you need to write extremely small or something like that, this is really good to have around. So the reason why I carry this one around is because it dries very fast. It's kind of water-based, so it is very convenient to carry around when you just need to scribble something and it doesn't smudge. These two are my next gel pens. So these I think are made from a different kind of gel, or they settle differently, but they are both 0.5. This Deli over here has a 0.5 nib as well, and it is a clicker pen. This was a very convenient pen that I used during all my university years, and I think I've got like 10 of them. And then this pen here is actually one of the first pens I bought from Kaweco and one of the first Dilly pens that I've owned. It's a Mong Kicks pen and it's got like a cute kind of design on it. This is a very at-home pen. I don't think I've taken this pen outside of my house. And of course, nib is very beautiful. And I find this pen very convenient to be writing on sticky notes and whenever I need to make a little note of something. Next up are my gel color pens, and these are all from Dilly again. They are all 0.5 and they come in 6 colors. There's blue, green, orange, purple, yellow, and pink. And these are called the Delights, Dilly Delight gel pens. And these have lasted me quite long. I think this is a new pack. I have used up a whole pack before, and I think I do have another pack or two in the spare. But I have been using these as well for the studies and the duration of my degrees. And of course, something I really loved is that they're clickers. So there's no worry about losing caps or breaking a cap or mismatching them or anything like that. And coincidentally, these colors basically match the fine liners I carry in my travel case. So the color coding that I do in my journals can be maintained when I'm using these at home versus the fine liners that are in my travel case. Second last thing is tape glue. This is also Dilly, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but this is an adhesive roller glue, and these have refillable like glue cartridges that you just buy. And I think I've gone through like 4 or 5 like replacement rollers when I've needed to over the last few years, and this is very convenient to have around when I have to stick down little pieces of paper, or if it's a sticky note that doesn't have like the stickiness of it, if it's just a memo pad. Since I only use it at home because I'm usually only gluing stuff when I am at home, but if this does come out of the house with me, it is extremely good to have. Last thing in this case is my Sheaffer fountain pen. I moved this from my handbag to this at-home pencil case just because I bought my Kaweco and I've been using some of my other Parker fountain pens, and so this one deserved a little bit of a rest in my home pencil case. Of course, there's nothing new I have to say about this one. It takes the ink cartridges, and it is very useful to have around when I feel like writing with a fountain pen or engaging with some calligraphy or some, you know, cursive writing of some sort. And it's just a really good variation to have. And so this is everything that sits inside my at-home pencil case. Next up is my travel pencil case, and this case I actually bought last week. It is a Jekyll and Hyde case. Now this is actually a cable organizer. I saw it and I was like, I need this as a pencil case. But I didn't necessarily like the inside of the cable organizing, but I liked the outside, the fact that it is leather. I fell in love with the color and the fact that it's good quality. And it came with a little like wristlet attachment, which is somewhere, but I was lucky to have gotten this one. I spent the last week kind of like setting this up and kind of exploring how I'm going to be using it. So far it's been working very well because I've been carrying a bunch of other pens in my handbag, and then I've got those fine liners that I've been using for my diaries and stuff. So having everything in one place now is going to be very convenient. And I also feel like this is a very big girl pencil case. So when we open her up, this is currently my setup. So I am not really going to talk too much about these Pigma fine liners. These were part of my February favorites, so it is in that video, but I did talk a little bit about these before, so I'm not really going to engage too much. But these have also 6 colors, and these colors pretty much match the Daily gel pens that I just showed you guys. And these are extremely thin tips. They are 0.2 millimeters, which is tiny. And like I said, very convenient to be fitting in the small lines of my diaries and such. I haven't stopped using them, so these have come in handy for me and are basically like an essential. So these fine liners basically act as a little cover for now. I did alter the inside of this, so I do understand that jeopardizes the guarantee that this thing came with. But honestly, if I'm going to be using it, I would rather have it personalized for my use than just keep it around and not use it or get the full use out of it. So as I said before, this was a cable organizer. So that means that this netting over here was actually also on this side. And what I decided to do was take the stitches out of the netting from this side, and I basically converted it to like a pen holder, and I re-stitched it back in here. And I'm quite proud of myself because it actually looks like it came like this, which is amazing. But I basically restitched it so that it kind of fits my pens vertically in it, because honestly this is nice for just keeping like little tidbits and keeping spare cartridges and stickers and whatever in it, but this is perfect for having your pens. And whatever leftover elastic was left from this, I cut the net from it and I made it into a little pen loop, which is actually mounted or sewn into the fabric now. So I know that completely disregards the guarantee that this came with, but I'm happy with it and I'm glad it didn't get messed up, and now I can actually use it to its full capacity. So in my pencil case pretty much is going to be some key stationery items that I would need on the go. First thing is sticky notes and stickers. So in this little Coach card, this is actually something I got when I bought my Coach wristlet, and it's just too pretty. It's too chic to let go, so I decided let me recycle it in some way. And this is a holder basically for any sticky notes, and this is a memo pad that I briefly showed in my journal ecosystem video, and I kind of halved it, so there's a little bit of that original pad in here, and it just perfectly fits inside this little card holder for this Coach bag basically, and it is very convenient to keep everything organized in here. The stickers I got from my fountain pen video are also still lying around, so I'm keeping them in here so that they're all nicely organized. Now in the rest of this pocket is some washi tape. This is washi tape my boyfriend got me from Australia, I think, and it's got little pandas on it, so it is very convenient to carry around, especially when I'm not carrying my tape glue. So this is something that's just a temporary fix to stick things in my diaries or my journals. And then I'm not going to take all of them out, but I've got 5 spare ink cartridges in here, and these are for my fountain pens, specifically for my Kaweco, which actually stays in my Coach wristlet in my bag so that it's just easy access for me. This is kind of just when I'm going to sit somewhere and I'm going to be consciously writing and I need multiple pens around. But these cartridges here are going to get used for my Kaweco and my Sheaffer pen. I believe I've got a black, light blue, dark blue, pink, and a brown cartridge in here, so I've got a nice combination of different cartridges to use in case my Kaweco or my Sheaffer runs out. And then as for the pens that I'm carrying, there is a lot of variety in terms of what the pens can do, but in terms of color there isn't much because I carry my fine liners with me. So when I have these, I've got good color variation. These are kind of just for each of my different journals, because in some of my journals the ink settles better and in the others it doesn't, and of course the nibs also differ. So first things first are 3 fountain pens. This is the premium preppy one that I bought at Art Savings Club the last time I did a vlog, and this one has red ink in it currently, so this is just a nice red pen to have. This is my other Parker pen here. I don't usually carry this one around, but I decided to carry it because it has a thicker fountain pen nib, so it's a nice medium size. And the last one here is the classic Parker 51, I think, which I've been carrying around in my bag, and this one has a very fine nib, so this is also a good variation of fountain pen to carry around, especially when I'm going to do calligraphy. And then in terms of different kinds of inks and different kinds of nibs, I've got these 3 pens. This is the New Design Daily pen. I've just got the blue one that is in my home pencil case. This is a red version. The ink is still black, but I like the color, it's red. And same nib situation and fast drying ink, which is why I'm carrying it with me, because this one's ink dries so fast. These last 2 pens also provide some variety in my pencil case here, and they're very simple pens that you would get. One of them is the Pilot G-Tech C4. I think I have spoken about this, but I will be talking more about it in one of my book annotating videos that I'm going to be working on. This is a very, very, very thin nib, and of course the ink is fast drying, but I like using this one for annotating my books specifically. This is a 0.4 nib, so it's quite small, and these pens are quite expensive, and I really like the way the ink sits and how it dries, and it is the only 0.4 gel pen I have in this pencil case currently. Good variation. The last pen in here is the Pentel Superb, and this is actually a ballpoint, or it's a hybrid ballpoint gel. This is a ballpoint pen, so actually it's a ballpoint, and this also provides a nice variation because all the pens that I have here are either fountain pen ink, fine liner, gel, and different types of gel, and then this is a ballpoint, so it works nicely for when I would need to use a ballpoint pen. And like I've mentioned, a lot of my journals, I think 2 of them out of like the 5 I have, are acid-free paper, which is nice to work with a variety of these pens. However, I do find that the fast-drying ink and the fountain pen ink looks much better on that paper. And when you've got your regular paper that is in the regular journals that I have, I do find that ballpoint and these kinds of gel pens sit better in them. And of course, when I am annotating and reading, the book pages have a different texture and different properties to them. So you don't want a heavy gel pen that is going to leak or that is going to take very long to dry on your pages when you are annotating them. I am currently working on another adjustment for this part. Since I stitched this part in here, I was wanting to put another elastic across here to hold the pens in, because I do find that they are easily moving about and can easily fall out. But for now, my Pigma fine liners have been going on top just to like hold it in place, and it gives it a very full look, and it is extremely full, but I've really been enjoying carrying this around. So that is the setup that I've kind of been going with for the last 2 months at home, and then the last week or so with my new pens. Now I am going to head to work, but when I come home, I'm doing a massive journal catch-up session and a big sort of journal update, and I'm going to show you guys how I use all of the pens I just described. So I will see you guys later.